been stabbed in the face, stabbed in the throat. I was just consumed by hate or unhinged. And I did that in jail too. Yeah. When I went into units by myself, surrounded by 30, 40 Aboriginals. I've been stabbed in the face, stabbed in the throat. That was a bit of glass that cut my throat along there. I always hold my own, stand back, and the Aboriginals just come in. And they'd lock me in the cyclone fence like that, and they stabbed me right there in the face. Big scar down there where one stage, where I'd stabbed through. I didn't want to impress these people, but I wanted to show them that, hey, I got a little touch of cunt in me.
We came to wreck everything.
Fighting men, that's who we are. We're living in the sewer, but we're gonna go far. You see another growing, we're shouting hurrah. Fighting men, that's who we
are. Morning YouTubers. We're going to get into Andrew Kirby's story part 2. I was initially going to make this 3 parts, but I'm going to catch up with him again a few times. His stories, it's a lot to take in for someone, the amount of drama and action and shit that's happened in his story, like, I know there's some people out there that, they find that unbelievable, but having lived quite a wild life myself, it's just the way it is. When you're that type of person, it's not that you attract it, it's that you also create it. You create it a lot because you're always trying to level up and you're always trying to stay relevant and make sure that your name's at the top, So if you put holes in someone one week that someone else does it, then you got to put your name back at the top of the list, So it just goes on and on and on and on. And that's the type of guy he is, So what I've done is I've made it part 2. When I record, I like to keep it raw and just keep the conversation and just post it all, no filtering, no editing, don't cut shit out of it. So that's the way I recorded it. So that's why the first bit sort of just ends without an explanation. It's just cuts off. So yeah, we're just going to go into part 2, which part 3 will come at a later date, but this does end our entire conversation. This one's a bit longer than the first one. If you haven't seen the first one, maybe watch the first one first and then get into this one. I did leave about 30 seconds to a minute of the first one in just to refresh you where we left off. So enjoy the video, and afterwards you can go. Actually, I'll be there to let you know.
It was a fight club. It was all the kids just wanting to prove who's the toughest, and it was just fights and fights and fights, and then you've got the broken ones that have been sexually abused by the prison staff, and other crims, other prisoners, in boys' home, sexually assaulting others. It was just madness. It was wow. It was sick. It was a really sick place to be, sick place to grow up, And at first I was scared to come out of my cell, and then the screws taking us to the toilet at night time and trying to sexually assault us and that. When I was a young kid, I was pissing and shitting in my cell. Because I was didn't want to go out, was a bit unsure, what was...
And there was no toilet in there?
No. They had to unlock your cell at night time, walk you down the hallway into the toilets. Yeah, and then kids would be yelling out, "You're getting fucked," and all this shit, and just carry on. And then, for me, I said to the screws after a week, let me out of the fucking cell. And when they did, I just blew up. I just went to a whole different place in my head, different whole feeling. It was I was just consumed by, I guess, hate and emotional unrest or unbalanced, or unhinged. Really. I mean, and that's what I did to generations, and that's why we had hard crooks in the 70s and the 60s, going through the boys' homes into that environment, and then my generation, where there was some really fucked up individuals, crooks, all stemming from the sexual abuse from boys' homes.
Yeah, wow.
It was crazy, and what gets me is it's not just one or two kids.
Yeah.
It's hundreds of kids.
Yeah.
Thousands of kids. I think there was 7,000 in Victoria.
Wow.
Affected. So the unit that I was in, the boys' home, all come from Ballarat Catholic School, which Cardinal Pell, his best mate, ran the Catholic school. And all those kids were all damaged in my unit, all from Ballarat.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like I remember going to jail the first time, or after a few times, people would talk about being abused and that, you know. And I know most men won't talk about being abused, like, you know, when they're younger and all that. So in my head, I was thinking, fuck, how many people have actually been abused to hear that many actually talk about it?
Yep.
Is probably, you know, might be 10% of who's actually been abused, because most of them won't talk about it. And then when all this Royal Commission stuff came out, like, fuck, like, you know, most boys in the wing are talking about it now. And I'm thinking, holy shit, you know, because when things like that, you know, you don't grow up around that or anything, and then you see that and hear all these fucking stories, you think, fuck, how many sickos are actually out there? Like,
yep.
And all these people have been exposed to, you know, and how it's affected them to put that many of them inside.
Yeah, well, it was until 2017 till I finally spoke up and said something. I refused to say anything, refused to even acknowledge it, until one of my mates smacked me in the mouth and said, it's good enough for me, why isn't it good enough for you to speak up? And that got me. I thought, well, yeah, all right.
Yeah. Being a male, you carry a lot of shame with that, eh? Like,
and this was someone with a big reputation that had been sexually assaulted as a kid, who smacked me in the mouth to say, oh, it's good enough for me, it's good enough for you.
Yeah.
You know, and even, you know, in the Supermax, when I was in the Supermax for all those years and that, 90% of them are either from protection or they're sex offenders.
Yeah. In the Supermax?
In the Supermax.
Yeah.
They're all they're not mainstreamers. They're not, you know, you only get a couple of mainstreamers like myself, you know. But the rest are, and everyone's pretty much been sexually assaulted. Yeah.
So this is Queensland Supermax?
Yep. Even Victoria.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
So how does that go about? What do you mean, like, how do they get in there?
Well, most of them are kid killers.
Oh yeah.
In the Supermax.
And they can't house them anywhere else?
It's not that they can't, it's their violence matches.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like they're unhinged. Trying to think of.
Yeah, because a lot of people would always ask me about Ivan Milat, and I'd be like, why the fuck would I know him? He's a rapist. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he raped them women and killed them. He's not some fucking famous fucking, you know, murderer. Like, he's the actual rapist.
Yeah, that's
a lot of people leave that out, and they think just because he's got a name, like.
No, they're sick.
Yeah, I'm like, no, bro, I definitely would not know that bloke. You know. Yeah.
That's right, but you know, the sickest of the sick though, end up in Supermax.
Yeah.
And they have got some natural strength about them too.
Yeah.
Like, they're dangerous people.
Yeah.
But people think, oh, you go to Supermax and they're all mainstreamers and they're, you know, they're all these tough, hard
gang leaders and shit. Yeah.
No bikies.
Yeah.
None of that shit.
It's like that in New South Wales too. Yeah. Not many actual, like, proper crims. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, and I tell that to people about, like, murderers, and the murderers you meet inside, most of them aren't the picture you'd have in your head of someone in jail who's a murderer. Yeah.
No way.
It's like your tax accountant or something.
Yeah,
you know? Like, just fucking,
They're just
the normal blokes,
They've just accidentally gone one step too far, you know, and anyone can do that.
Yeah.
But, you know, when people, like in boys' home and that, when people start hurting kids and doing sick shit, they're sick mentally.
Yeah, there's another level to that, doing that to children,
And there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
A lot. And over the years, I saw it grow as well, you know, so I'm surprised there's not a lot more.
With the ice too, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you see that inside too, and everyone, like, they see old men, they're always like, pedo, you know, but then a lot of them, if you ever had the chance, you look in the SO wing, like the sex offender wing, you'll see that a lot of them are, there's a lot of young people in there.
Yep.
It's not all these just old men that people think, you know, pedo. It's fucking like, there's all these young kids and fucking just twisted cunts in there.
Twisted, and the ice really brings it out on them too.
Yeah,
you know? It's a shame. Yeah. It really is.
Yeah, that's fucked up. Right, so you after, let's go back to boys' home. You got out of boys' homes and you went back to the same area? Yeah,
so I always sort of hung around the city.
Yeah.
And just on the outskirts of the city.
Yeah.
Not the, I mean, like the inner city.
Yeah.
So I was always around there, and you know, that's when I hooked up with Dane and a couple of skinheads.
Yeah.
One of the kids from Boys Home I caught up with, and he was going back to Dane's, and one of the kids, he was a skinhead, and I didn't really know anything about skinheads at that stage, so I went back with them, and I just ended up running with them in the end, and it was probably 9 chaotic months. Yeah, 5 to 9, just absolutely bone-chilling, destruction, just wrong, you know. And we got to stop that level of violence in the community. Yeah. You know, and gangs getting together like that, you know. Yeah. And I don't know how you break it down. It's hard to break things down when we're so multicultural these days, because cultures will stick together now. Yeah. So it's not white and black. And
they do that in Sydney where they probably do it everywhere, where the immigrants come in and they put them all in the same area. Yep. And they're from war-torn countries, and then they group up because when they come as a minority and there's only a few of them, usually kids will pick on them. Yep. And then they'll turn that around when a few more come in, and then they'll end up defending themselves, turning into gangs. And, you know, like, they didn't come out like violent. It's like people pushed them into that, you know, pushed them into a corner, and then they create the gang, and then they do it to someone else, and it's just a cycle. Yeah,
definitely. You know, I'd love to see that old school values get brought back into the community and every culture. Yeah. You know, just breed that, you know.
Yeah, because it is, like, we do speak not only different languages, like verbally, but also like mentally, and that, you know, and the places we're from and the cultures we're brought up in, it's like a whole different, you know, language and a whole different way to get through to people. Yeah.
Communication is key. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if it's communicating like us, or communicating about us and a different culture, learning about other people, accepting other people, and their culture, and just, you know, coming together, because when life's happy, everything's going good. Everything goes great.
And it's a blessing having, like, imagine it was just Australia or you know, like whites and blacks, but having all these other cultures in there is, fuck, it's a blessing. It is. Like, you go get all the maddest food, you get to learn about all people's different cultures, and they have all these fucking they have all their own events on and stuff that you can go to and learn all their stuff. And it's really like, I love it. I love going to everyone's different stuff, you know. Like, I couldn't imagine just having Australia Day, you know what I mean? Like,
no, I love getting amongst all sorts of people, and bantering with them, and having a laugh and having a joke about, you know, their culture, our culture, and you know, but everyone's just coming together and having a good time. Life goes well. Yeah. Who wants to be miserable? Yeah. I just can't work it out why people want to be so miserable, or caught up in their own emotions. So, you know, we really need to do something in society to bring it back a little.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and it does start with youth, you know, even though I often say that, you know, my message doesn't just go to the youth, because I turned my life around at a later stage, and so I want people to understand that they can do that too at a later stage. That you can do it at any stage in life. It's you know, it's up to you to change your life whenever you want to change your life. But it does start with the children, where there's more of them that you can, you know, to bring that new generation through.
Yep. Yeah. And you've got good skills. You've got painting that will reach out to kids. You've got the boxing that will reach out to kids. Your YouTube, it'll reach out to kids, and that's why people, you know, gravitate towards you. You know, and we need more people like that to reach out to them kids as a role model, because kids lack role models. Yeah. If they had role models, we'd probably see a lot more succession. Yeah. You know, with our generations. Yeah. Yeah. It's a shame.
Yeah. All right. So we went to so after that 9 months, so what are the kind of things that happen in the 9 months of chaos?
Shit. You know, the fire bombings, firebombed synagogues, you know, I'm not proud of that. Burnt down houses, some with people in it. There was bashing, stabbings, murders, and robberies. And it was just continual every day, continual. And people remember back in the late 80s and the early 90s, more the late 80s, people were just too scared to go out, to get on trains or anything, because of the violence that we were putting out there. It actually terrified people. And even when we got into the prison system, when we first got into the prison system, we took it over. People might say bullshit. That's people with your own egos, so you've got your own issues, buddies. Yeah. But we took it over for a short period of time. Yeah. Before my co-offender ended up getting sent to protection. Yeah. You know, and we did have a little sort of glory period. Yeah. You know, but nothing lasts forever. Yeah, no. That sort of shit does not last. Yeah. You know, because you're always getting bumped off. Yeah. The higher you climb the tree, the more you expose your ass. Yeah. You know. Yeah, and the more people that want you. That's right. Yeah. You know.
Yeah. So they so when you went in, that's the guard.
Yeah, the guard. So you know, sort of filtered out from like, you know, the hierarchy. Yeah. To generals, to soldiers. Yeah. And whatnot.
And how many people did you have? Would you say were in there at the peak?
Probably maybe 30. Yeah.
It was a pretty strong crew, yeah.
Good 20, 30 people, yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I was in South Australia too at that stage for a bit of it. So, you know, I had mates over there that I was kicking stuff off with, and you know, that led to riots over there in South Australia. And you know, as I said once before, that 20 Aboriginals come to my cell and were going to kill me. Yeah. And I just had paperwork on this one bloke that I'd hot watered. Yeah. And it wasn't to do with race, it was because he was a dog. And his brother was the one that got dismembered in Melbourne. Oh. And they stuck me in a unit with that bloke's brother. Yeah. And he said, he told everyone in the unit he's going to cut my throat. Oh, yeah. And I thought, no, I'll get you, dog. Yeah. You know, because I learnt never to hesitate about anything. It doesn't matter, driving, violence, whatever, you just don't hesitate. Yeah. You know, and in those sort of situations, you know, I didn't hesitate, and but they come back for me. And, you know, little Aboriginal bloke, he pumped me. Oh, yeah. You know, because I did say to him, you couldn't come to my cell and call me a dog, and you know, we've got to sort it. You know, he's coming and pumped me, but you know, so it was just a never-ending violent cycle. Yeah. You know, that we just couldn't get out of. Yeah. And there's always in that headspace of when you're in gangs and shit, it's like, oh, wait, we'll just take these cunts out. You always think that you're just gonna, you know, somehow get there, but it's just fucking never ending. Never ending. It just grows, it just snowballs, you know, Because you'll upset the wrong person. Yeah. Someone you might have a group of 20, but you might upset someone in that group of 20 that's gonna turn that group of 20 against you, or, you know, and then you get the factions and the friction and everything like that. It's just a never ending. For everyone you take out, there's going to be 2 or 3 of his friends or family that want to get you now. Yep. So it's just always a snowball, you know, like, That's right. You might start with 10 blokes, you've just taken it, now 40 want you. Yep. Yeah. And, you know, there was times where myself, like, I was just doing violence just to feed my... reputation? Not my ego or my reputation, but to stay relevant. Oh, yeah. And to get me over the next day, and then the next day and the next day, because if nothing happened, then everything could be boring, and you'd be sitting in a jail for 27 years. So someone else is going to take your name. Yeah, you always had to do something to just keep yourself going. Yeah. And keep yourself motivated, keep yourself, you know, positive, even if you're doing a life sentence right to the end. Yeah. You know, so, and, you know, you get the people that stroke your ego. It's the biggest killer in the world. Yeah. People stroking your ego, and, you know, then you rise to this thing that you're not. Yeah. And, you know, you take a lot of people with you. Yeah. At the end of the day, and your family and your kids. Yeah. Like, your kids suffer. Yeah. Your kids just suffer. Yeah. You know, families suffer. Same with my dad. You know, I said to my dad, you know, what is it that you don't like about me? He goes, you know, I had to live by that phone for 30 odd years, 40 years, waiting for that phone call to say that you were dead. Yeah. You know, so I never knew how hard that would be emotionally on him. Yeah. And he's not one to speak up about it. So, you know, I just tore down my own family. Yeah. You know, and here I am thinking it's them. Yeah. When really, I've got to start taking responsibility for what I did. Yeah, absolutely. You know, which I do, and my kids don't speak to me. Yeah. You know, what do you do? Yeah. You try to keep working at it, but sometimes things can't be repaired the way you want it, as quick as you want it. Yeah. And then, you know, the longer you leave it, the harder it is. Yeah. You know, and the older we get, you know. Yeah. having 20 good years left in your life, you know, before it's all done is a hard thing to face.
Yeah.
After now I'm in my 50s and it's all over.
Yeah.
You know, so now I've got to make the most of what I can.
Yeah.
And that's the life that I've brought myself to, which I'm deeply remorseful and I regret it.
And now, you want to leave with some good karma, not?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You know, and be able to
you're not going to judge a book on one page, you know. So you want to make sure that your book ends.
Yeah, imagine if you did 27 years jail and you just got out and you're a bum or you're a nobody and you're not relevant. Then life's daunting. Yeah. You've got no aspirations, no will to want to go on. Yeah. And the only way is good or bad. Yeah. And we know which way bad's going to go. Yeah. And in my case, bad is back to Supermax. Yeah. For the rest of my life. Yeah. In shackles and dog squad and cert teams. That's no lie. I've achieved nothing. That would torment me. Yeah. You know, so getting out here and doing something constructive, and I've already got that romper stomper legacy. Yeah. I'll live forever through that. Yeah. It's never going to die, but I want to make sure that I leave a good message with that. Yeah. You know, I don't want that just to define my life when it was built on shit. Yeah. You know, I want it to mean something. Yeah. And for a positive to come out of it.
Yeah, man. Good on you. Right, what about so let's go to you said about the riot in South Australia. You told me about that before, but like that was pretty interesting. A few of the things you told me, like the army came in and stuff like that.
Yeah. First
So how'd that all go about?
So there was Aboriginals took some screws hostage and some white guys hostage and stabbed them up.
Oh yeah, and all of stabbed the screws and the white guys.
Yep. Yeah. And refused to give them up for 3 days. Wow. About 3 days it was. Yeah. And you know, everyone's just running chaotic, sabotaging all the workshop machines, blowing them up, everything like that.
Did it start in the workshop?
I think it did actually. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that it did start in the workshop. I won't mention his name. He's a good friend of mine. Yeah. I'm still friends with today. But you know, you're out there in the yard. You've got 120 live characters out in the yard. Yeah. You've got a hostage situation going on inside the unit. Yeah. You know, the cert team, the big squads, jail squads can't sort it. Yeah. And then bang, they've got to bring in the army. So, you know, people are scattering all around the place, and you've got in South Australia, you've got a big cyclone fence on the inside. Oh yeah. And then you've got a brick outer wall. Yeah. That segregates B division from E division, and in B division that's the main part. Yeah. Where the army and everyone come in, and you know, people are climbing up the cyclone fences so that no one can get you off and rip you down and all that, and they're shooting you off with beanbag bullets and that and shit like that. And then once you get down to the ground, you've got the screws will make a big tunnel, you know, 20, 30 screws that side, 20, 30 that side, and you've got to run through that, and they've got the shields and the batons, and it'd be the army or the squad or whatever, and you've got to run in back into the units and into a cell, you know, so you can be locked away. Yeah. And that's what they do. They just herd you up, and then as you're going through, you know, you got to make it through, and you know, you're just getting smashed. I mean, really fucked up and really hurt. You know, there was a lot of screws. Brad Fowler, he hit a screw with one of those helmets, those cert team helmets. Oh, yeah. It split in half and rattled around his head. Oh yeah. Just fucking fell off. Yeah. Yeah, heck yeah. You know, the bloke who mentored me, as I was growing up, he shot his way out of prison.
Did he?
Yeah, he got shot through the shoulder, shot off the wall, still went up and over.
Well, how'd that go about? Was this in Melbourne?
No, this is in South Australia.
Oh, South Australia as well, yeah.
He escaped twice from Yatala. Yeah. His missus was in the car and was outside of the wall, and 4 of them went over the wall and into the boot and in the back seat of the car, and she
Is this Maxo?
Yeah, he's in Maxo, in
Yatala.
Wow. In Yatala. And Gary's halfway up the wall and boom, shot him off. And that he's kept up and gone over. And shot his way out. I wasn't there when he shot his way out.
Yeah, wow.
But they managed to smuggle a shotgun in. or something in the. I remember that one of the governors wrestled. I think it was Marcel Spiro. Wrestled the shotgun off him.
Oh yeah.
And thought it was fucking crazy over there in South Australia.
Yeah, wow.
Like crazy, but me and Gary and a couple others, we planned to escape with plastic explosives out of the Adelaide Remand Centre by blowing the window out. And our other mate John, he was to park the car with the guns and the balaclavas down there. And that same night, he'd shot two sex offenders at a halfway house. And, and didn't get to fucking drop the car off and everything like that. And me and Gary got fucking transferred straight out of there.
Oh, so they found out about it?
Oh, yeah, they were right onto us.
Oh, so they knew before you were going to go?
Yeah. I'm going to try and hook up the buffing machine to the plastic explosives and fucking all sorts of shit. And, it was on.
Yeah.
It was on, and old mate fucking shot two sex offenders.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, and ended up with shot his thumb off.
His own thumb?
Yeah, he shot his own thumb off. So, and they were really old school crooks. They were involved with Terry Haley, who was with Brian Brown in the movie Stir at Grafton Prison. Yeah, so he was Terry Haley was involved with Gary and that back in our heyday. So they were a really heavy type of crim. Yeah. You know, real man-to-man sort of hard school crooks, you know. And they just gathered me in and schooled me up and
wow.
You know, and I'm still friends with today, you know. And mate, the bloke's a gem now. What he does for his mum and dad, he's a great bloke now. Yeah. You know, he's gone through a few challenges in his life, you know, but
fucking hell. All right, so you got out of there in South Australia. Did you go back to Melbourne first?
I got extradited.
Oh, you got extradited, yeah.
Yeah, so they accidentally released me from prison.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. They called me up and I said, I'm getting extradited, and they're going, listen, you're a fucking idiot, and get out the fucking jail. You know?
Yeah.
And so they stuck me on a bus and sent me into town. So beauty. So here I am staying in this house, and I went out shopping with my missus, and I come back and we lived in this court, and I said, fuck, there's a few cars, and what are builders all up on the roof for?
Yeah.
Right? I'm sort of thinking, it's fucking weird.
How long were you out for?
2 weeks.
2 weeks, oh yeah.
2 weeks, and Dane had rang me the day that I got pinched.
Oh yeah.
He rang me from H Division by phone, and I went out shopping, come back from shopping, there's all these people everywhere. I'm saying, what's going on? I walked inside and bang, they just come fucking flying from everywhere, cert teams, you know, everything just bang. And then, just threw me in a fucking divvy van and fucking drove me back straight into the mainstream of the prison.
Oh,
and the following week I was on a plane going back to Melbourne, but, you know, the plane was pretty much taken off when they raced me to the airport and got me on the plane.
Oh, yeah.
But when I got off in Melbourne, and I don't care what anyone, because all this is public record, it is out there. There was 4 drives, there was fucking airport security, cops, shotguns, everything. And I'm thinking, fuck, I am in some shit. Yeah. You know, but we've got to remember that Dane and that was pinched on dismembering a person. Yeah. You know, there was other murders and there was other bad stuff that had gone down that we were responsible for as a group, that we were getting tried for.
They take it very serious,
And they took it, because of the influence that we had on people all over the place, and young people, the influence, you know, for them to do dumb shit, they took us really serious, you know, and every time I'd hit a jail or wherever, they'd just segregate me straight away, you know, because of the threat, you know, same as in Queensland. As soon as everyone knew about Romper Stomper, I had like 30 people sucking up my ass. Yeah. You know, you know, we're fucking white power and that, and I'm like, I want nothing to do with it. Before I knew it, I'm in Supermax. Yeah. You know, and a prison officer died and fucking all sorts of shit. You know? So, it's not good.
What do you mean, a prison officer died?
When I had the siege.
I
had the siege
in Queensland.
Yeah.
So you've left. Oh wait, first. So you
Sorry,
left.
Man.
No, you're right. I do it a lot too. I jump in that. Yeah. So when you're in, where'd you get shot?
I got shot in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Yep. Which was quite funny. So
funny now or funny then? No.
Well, I did laugh when I got shot. My mate will tell you about that.
Yeah.
My missus had a friend and her husband that kept beating her up and that.
Oh yeah.
And there was a big drug organisation thing going on in the background. These are some heavy people.
Yeah.
And I said to my missus, I don't want her in my fucking house.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah. And she kept lobbing up. And anyway, so the bloke gets on the phone and goes, I'm going to fucking knock you, your dog. Rah, rah, rah. I said, is that you, such and such? Yeah, you're a fucking dog. I said, I'll see you in 10 minutes. And he starts laughing. I said, laugh now. I'll be around there. So I went around there and fucking give old mate fucking touch up and fucking whatnot and everything. And it was, the house was connected to a big drug operation.
Oh yeah.
Where corrupt police, all sorts of things, and people went down, and I had no involvement. I didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah.
I'm just an innocent party defending my house.
Yeah.
So anyways, someone was told to go and sort it. So they come back and I went out to my backyard and I thought I'd seen someone standing like a tree out in the backyard in the darkness.
Yeah.
And as I went to go to hit the light switch, bang, fucking, I get blown away, shot straight in the neck. Yeah, so old mate's just come up and just gone bang, shot me straight in the neck. I've done a massive fucking flip, hit the ground, and then fucking I've jumped to my feet and grabbed him, and fucking old mate's taken off.
Yeah.
My mate's come running out, God bless him, because, and I'll give him that, he's no fear, he just come running out, he wasn't even a real crook.
Yeah.
And I said, did that dog just wreck my back job? Because I've got a big
tattoo.
He goes, fuck, shut up, idiot, get inside. And then, so I went inside, and the funny thing was, 3 months later, I moved from that house. I was sitting up trees waiting for people to come back, all sorts of shit. I moved to a block of flats where the people that were involved in the first place moved the same week in the same fucking bunch of flats, right? So it fucking blew up again. And Frankie Waghorn, who was Chopper Reed's best mate, his sister lived downstairs, and so I'm downstairs, and this big circle of people start building up and the police, they're coming back to get me. Yeah. And this bloke come into the French sister's house, and I had a machete, and I fucking went like that, and old mate's fucking gone like that, and ran straight. He's going, he's got a machete, no guns and that out there. Yeah. But Frank's sister come out and goes, one hair on that kid's head gets touched, and we're going to fucking war. You know, which was meeting her family and everything, because they were all payment dockers and all that sort of stuff. And so me and this young bloke Chops, Robbie Presnell, we're sitting in there, cornered in the bedroom, waiting for shots to come flying through the house. And I just that small break, I bolted out the back window and got away with my life again. Yeah, wow. The second time. And, and it just...
So then you went to Queensland?
Yeah.
Good idea,
because the police come and tried to fucking kidnap me, and I went to the servo. They come to my house, and I said, oh, no, I'm not there, Anyway, so I was at the servo, so they come and fucking grab me and snatch me into the car. Yeah. But it was at the servo, so they could see him taking me on the camera. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? So that was the whole thing. Is they took me out into the bush, right? And they fucking opened the boot, and I'm like, started sweating. Yeah. And what they had was briefs of all people that had been telling on people. Oh, yeah? And they were saying, listen, you might as well fucking add to that. And I said, I don't give a fuck. I'm not doing nothing. I don't want to know. I don't give a fucking shit, right? And they were trying to fucking pump me for, for information. And I said, fuck off. And that's when I fucking legged it straight to Queensland. Yeah. So that's what happened with that. Oh, yeah? Yeah.
All right, so you've gone up to Queensland, and then how'd you get locked up there?
Well, some stupid idiot decided to sell my girlfriend drugs, so I knocked him out in the fucking grey-white real estate. Yeah. And sent me back to jail.
Inside the real estate?
No, just on the nature strip there.
Oh, yeah, at the front, yeah.
Yeah, just right on the doorstep, pretty much. Which, it's something that I do want to actually address, actually. Yeah. And so, I done 6 months. Yeah. And I thought that my missus would just piss off and just leave me. Well, she didn't. she fucking come and pick me up from the jail with a parole address.
Yeah.
Court ordered parole.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't have to apply for it.
Yeah.
They just give it to you with little sentences. And she and 4 people had come up with a plan to fuck me up, right? So
So the one that picked you up?
Yeah.
Oh,
She picked me up to lure me back to my parole address, where there's 4 blokes waiting, standing like this as I walked in. And you know how you can start to sense people starting to move, and you can feel the tension and everything. So bang, I knocked the first one straight out and broke his jaw, right? I said, oh, you smell like poo, right? So I fucking picked him up like a dog and I threw him. He smashed his head on the door jamb and I fucking launched him off the balcony, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's asking me, what did the other 3 blokes do?
Yeah.
They ran for their fucking lives.
Yeah.
That's what they did.
Yeah.
They fucking shit bricks and ran for their lives like the weak pieces of shit, because they were drugging women.
Yeah.
What they were doing, drugging women and having their way with them.
Yeah.
And my ex happened to be one of them, but she was just dumb where she wanted to hang out with them.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. So I waited around that night.
Yeah.
That night, I counted 12 knives stashed around the house. So they had big plans for me.
Yeah.
They had massive plans, right?
Yeah.
So the next morning, I went to my mate's place.
Yeah.
And I said, some bloke turned up and said, all your stuff's out the front with a police cart there. Go and pick your stuff up. So I said, yeah, all right, I can go and I'm going to pick my stuff up. Bloody oath I am. So I went up there, and as I'm going to pick my stuff up, old mate's, the other bloke, one of the 4, has come back, and he's sitting there, and then he gets up to answer the door with the fucking knife, and he's going, so I just fucking bang and hit him, and the surgical scissors were on the table in his lounge room, which I picked up when I could have shot him, but I didn't, and stabbed him 18 times with them. And why he got away with his life is because the other 2 blokes out of the 4, so the 3 were there.
Yeah.
The other 2 had my hands like that as I was going down and into him and trying to cut his eyes out.
Oh, yeah.
For being a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what happened. That's what everyone's been asking me on TikTok. What did they all do? Oh, bullshit. Oh,
yeah.
It's public records. It's all there, you know. It's just that easy. I got set up.
Yeah.
You know, I could have quite easily had just gone my separate way. If she never picked me up, I wouldn't have went back to her. Yeah. I would have just made my way, because my mum had my son. Yeah. And their whole intentions was to get my son, and, you know, because they were telling me, she's with us and we're going to have your son and all this. And that's when I used to fucking bang with the first one. Yeah. And severely broke his jaw. Yeah. It fucking bled for 5 hours. Yeah. I was pissed, and I was fit too, and I was big and fit, you know. And this is the type of shit that I had to deal with. So anyway, bang, a day and a half later, I'm back in jail. Yeah. Within 6 weeks, I had a big siege in the jail, because I was fucking still seething over all this, just really seething, knowing I was going to do a big whack. And there was some blokes standing over people in the unit and carrying on and just being real dickheads and whatnot. We orchestrated this little hit squad to fucking hot water everyone and fucking bang, 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 bash everyone, and tied the skipping rope yard door off, you know, with the skipping rope. Oh, yeah. And we're out in the yard and just fucking going and working these people. And the Screws finally got access to the yard and tried to play hero. And down the screw went, and I jumped all over his head and broke his leg in 5 places. And
well, he ran out there by himself.
Well, he went out there with others, but he was the first one out. Oh, yeah. And he grabbed me from behind and slung me back. And
I know them stupid ones.
I just fucking jumped all over his fucking head. And it was a stupid thing to do. For 14 minutes I was on my feet fighting these Screws on my own, while my co-offender was knocked out underneath my feet. I stood over his head so they couldn't jump on his head. Yeah. And I was just kept trying to fight him off. And then he's actually regained consciousness, and they actually had him leg cuffed, and he's got back up and he's just done a fucking somersault and just flattened everyone, and Screw come and fucking rear-ended me fucking from behind and fucking busted me back. And there was a lot of carnage that day in the yard. It's like a prisoner nearly died, and the screw gets his leg set in the hospital.
Yeah. And
it got infected, and his leg couldn't be reset. But to find out he had stomach cancer as well, so that infection and all that exacerbated the stomach cancer, and he died.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. So all this time I'm saying to the screws as they're coming around the Supermax, I say, "G'day, Chief, how's his leg going, eh? Poor bastard."
Yeah.
And he was dead.
Oh, yeah,
and
wow.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, and the screws hated me for it.
Yeah.
Fucking hated me for it, you know. I wasn't allowed to have any human contact. No, nothing. You know, for ages.
Yeah. And how long were you in there for?
Fuck, I ended up doing about 8 years.
Oh, so most of your time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, done it fucking years and years. And, you know, which at one stage I had one of Australia's most notorious prisoners fucking tell on me.
Yeah.
Right, so that he wouldn't face me. He's had me removed from the pod. Just buzzed up the fucking senior and said, "Get this fucking dog out of here." That's what he said. And I'm like,
"It's the dog."
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
So and I zipped up, but I still didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
And he's fucking air raiding and everything, right? And after a while, because it tormented me for a while, because I knew I could never get him.
Yeah.
And it fucking really ate away at me. And that's when I started to think, this is all a fucking fraud. This whole life is a fraud.
Yeah.
All these people, frauds.
Yeah.
Fucking plastic gangsters, frauds. So I started working on myself, and you know, when you're in solitary confinement and Supermax and that for 17 odd years, you go mad.
Yeah.
You go through roller coasters. There was periods of 18 months where I didn't even speak to anyone, see anyone, no nothing. So, you just go fucking crazy, and I decided to use my brain to reconstruct myself and rebuild myself.
Yeah.
And it started off, I'd close my eyes and I would put my tool belt on and I'd get my tools for the day, and I whatever I was building, I'd go to the shed and I'd get all them tools.
Yeah.
And I'd hand carve shit and I'd make shit, and and I went on to build a village and I put people in it.
Yeah.
So if I needed a psychologist, I'd go into my head and I'd go and talk to that psychologist, and I'd nut it out with them in my head, and I'd get the answer that I needed.
Yeah.
And I reconstructed my whole brain and my whole life to where I am today, being just a normal citizen.
Yeah, yeah, awesome.
A decent sort of
person,
but it took me 18 months to build that village.
Yeah.
With all different types of people in it.
Yeah.
No one was bad in the village.
Yeah.
I built my dream home.
Yeah.
I built my car. I built boats. I built ships. I carved it.
Yeah.
So all that energy that was going into my mind, that was shifting. When you got anxiety, it was shifting that part of the brain to this part by me thinking this stuff, and it was actually shifting all the shit.
Yeah.
And I was reconstructing.
Yeah. You're lucky to be able to do that. Because a lot of people in there, like you'd see them in the Supermax, or like when I was in the gang, you just see them break. 99% of them just break, and they'll do anything that the screws want. They'll roll over and they'll fucking do this and that, But to have that, to be able to go inside your own self and do things and have that creative process is fucking, it's next level, Richard Ray,
I reconstructed my life. He went on to murder his cellmate.
I know Richard Ray,
Crazy.
Yeah. I think I told you last time, and I thought he was a rapist. For some reason, people were saying that to me, and then,
they designed...
he'd come down from Queensland,
Yeah, they
and he was like really nice, like...
They got rid of him from Queensland, they couldn't...
Yeah.
He was in the Supermax.
Yeah.
He would say
I met him
chicken.
at Kent. We didn't know that he was like that,
You'd say chicken, he'd start screaming for 2 days solid.
Yeah.
Saying the word chicken. Bashing the ball. Boom,
like
boom,
he did
boom,
seem a little
boom.
crazy, but he was always very polite, and as most psychopaths are. Yeah.
It was the most hardest crim to ever go through Queensland system.
Yeah, wow.
Yep, the most toughest crim
to
go through the system. They could not break him.
Yeah.
Yep.
I seen the interview he did when he actually murdered that cellmate.
Yep.
Because I'd gotten out, I think it was like 3-4 months or several months before that, and then it happened. The boys rang me and told me. I was like, what the fuck? And then when I found out it was him, I was like, holy shit. And I seen him doing the interview. I was like, holy shit, man, this guy's off his head.
Yeah.
Like he's just in there smiling, and like stayed in there all night with him, went to sleep, fucking.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was another one, Scott O'Connor. He ended up hanging himself. He got a visit with his daughter and then hung himself in the Supermax.
Oh, yeah.
So this Crim had an issue with a screw and had an issue with Scott. And this other Crim threw hot water on the screw. And anyways, they managed in solitary to put Scott and this other Crim out in the yard.
Oh, yeah.
So Scott has fucking murdered him.
Yeah.
Right? Beat him to death severely. Tied the dead body to his waist and done chin-ups and dips with the fucking body. When they called the site down, can you just give us the body, Scott? Just give us the body. He fucking jumped on the head till it was flat as a pancake, ripped it off and threw it at the psych.
Right.
That's what this shit does. Richard Ray and people like that.
Yeah.
They break, people break, and I was going down that path.
Yeah.
No ifs or buts about it.
Yeah.
My jail rap sheet speaks for itself. You know.
Yeah, that's what happens. You treat someone like an animal, they turn into one.
Yeah. I've no qualms. I've glassed the screw in the eye. You know, I've bashed the governors. I've done it all, bro. I've jumped all over that other screw. You know, all that's. I was going down that path.
Yeah.
Where I decided to change, but I'm only one of the people in Australian True Crime said I'm the only one they've ever heard of that's ever turned it around and walked away. Yeah. I'm the only person. Everyone else has gone mad. Yeah. And whatnot. Yeah, every one of them. Or they go out in body bags. Yeah. They kill themselves. Yeah. They go mad. Yeah. You know, and it was a shame.
It's very easy to.
Yeah. 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 And you know, that's I've seen so many bodies go out in solitary, year after year, day after day after day, just bodies after bodies, and people just don't understand how many suicides are. All these people that inspired to be a bad crim and all this, they end up knocking themselves in jail.
Yeah, because they can't handle it.
They can't because they can't. The regime. Yeah. Like you've got to be a certain type of person to deal with that particular regime.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know, the solitary part. It's the solitary part. Yeah. It's not the bashing the screws and doing all that and running amok and everything. It's when you're left to your own device. You know.
Hour after hour, day after day.
And when the screws just decide not to talk to you. Yeah. Like coat, like full coat. Yeah. You know, so one, you're not talking to any prisoner because you can't talk to anyone. Yeah. And then the screws decide to no interaction. Yeah. Or, there's your food, Mr. Kirby. Yeah. There's your food. You know, and then it breaks people.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
You know, things like that. So, it's a bad world. The whole
system's fucked, yeah.
The whole system is fucked.
Yeah. Like, I don't know why we base it on, like, America's system that's fucked more than anyone's. Like, in the civilized world, rather than these European countries where people don't fucking, like, people rehabilitate more than fucking anything. Yep. More than go back, yeah.
We are so far up America's ass with the jail system, it's not funny because...
And we just want money, we just want to make money from them.
Yep. Yeah. My gang, the Guard, was bordering on one of the first jail gangs. Yeah. There was only 2 other gangs. There was one in South Australia, which my mate started up, and that was to stop people being scotched and sexually assaulted by other prisoners. Yeah. And Queensland had the Angry Gang. Yeah. Which was, you know, they were murdering others that were raping other people as well. Yeah. And then after my generation was your gang. Yeah. Before that, there was no gangs. Yeah. There was no gangs in prison. Yeah. Now there is gangs, this gang, this gang, this gang, this gang in jail.
The amount I've heard now, like, boys were telling me a couple of years ago, they're like, have you heard of this? I'm like, what the fuck? Who are these people? There's like 100 gangs in there now.
Yeah, and the bikies come in and control it all under one umbrella. Yeah. You know, they don't care about you. No. They don't give a shit. Yeah. They care about their pocket. Yeah. That's it.
They want you to join so you can sell their shit and you can make them rich. Yep. Yeah.
You know,
or if they need something done that's going to get someone 20 years, you're going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
And then they'll forget about you.
Yep. Yeah. You know, and then you see all the violence on the street. Yeah. All the murders and stuff, especially in Sydney. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Well, have you opened a YouTube channel?
I've got one started. I just lost my phone.
Oh yeah.
But I'm going to start uploading videos, so I went and brought a new phone, an iPad and everything.
Yeah, awesome.
And I've got some content ready to go. So
yeah, sweet. Because I'm going to drop all your links in these videos. Yeah.
So it's under Curbs TV at the moment on YouTube, but I've got someone that's just going to help me get it all going and start following on. And I've got a whole heap of stuff from England.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah. Also, if you want Andrew on any of these bigger podcasts, if you know people like so the type of people you're helping or communicating with and doing stuff with now, like universities, criminologists, psychologists, jails, professors, like stuff like that. And Andrew's always out there to help. So if you're involved in any of that stuff or know who is, you can get in contact with me, or his channels will be in the link, and you can I'm sure that he'll have a email in his bio, so you can get in contact with him. But yeah, that's your story's fucking crazy, to be honest.
It is.
Yeah, but we'll definitely have Andrew back sometime. But for today, we'll leave it there. So this is Andrew Kirby, who's out doing good things now, who's out helping people. Even if you're in Queensland now, you're based in Queensland now.
Yeah, but probably
but
not for too long.
Yeah,
I travel a lot, so I go from Queensland, New South Wales to Victoria. Yeah. But I'm looking at actually coming down to Sydney.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. But that's probably the best place to be, Central too. Yeah. Oh, awesome. And he's also got you'll have a book coming out soon? Yeah,
I reckon about 6 months.
6 months, all right,
6 months, and I should have a series of books coming out.
Oh yeah, sweet. So keep an eye out for that, guys. Andrew Kirby, reformed criminal, and myself, Nathan Patterson. You can go now. Legend, Andrew.
Thank you.
Like I said, you can go now. Thank you, Andrew Kirby. Much appreciated. Legend, bro, and legend for turning it around and sending a positive message to all those that might think they have no hope. Much love. You can go now.